I am Scott Brown. This is what I look like when I shave. I get 8 hours of sleep. I was not going to talk about Social Security tonight, but when I heard Scott and Paul were coming, we had to change up the content. So we could thank them for the nice Social Security information you're about to get tonight. Thank you guys so much for coming. It's a pleasure to see everybody. It's great to be here. And I appreciate y'all spending some time with us. We're going to talk a little bit about Social Security, and then I'm going to move into taking income in retirement and how we use Social Security as that core income in the greater context of all your other assets. You're going to hear me talk about a reoccurring theme tonight for my last 10 minutes or so before we get dessert and get you out of here. And that recurring theme is we want you to focus on the things that you can control. We do not want you to focus on stuff that you can't control. Because what does everybody worry about? Whether it's on the TV, the internet, your friends in the water cooler, what do people worry about when it comes to markets and retirement? Huh? When you retire? They ever talk about the stock market? What's the S&P doing? Or what about inflation or taxes or who's in the White House? Who cares? I can't control any of that stuff. Scott can't control it. Michael can't control it. Nobody in this room can. So let's not build a plan that's based around something that we have no choice or control over. Is that fair? All right, so we'll move right along. So, Social Security, full retirement age, guys, is that magic number. That's where you get your full benefit that was promised to you from Uncle Sam. It's going to be somewhere between 66 and 67 years old. You can always take it early. You can take it as early as 62. We do not advise that you do this because you're going to get a reduced rate. You're going to get about 75% of what you would have gotten at the full retirement age, and that stays locked in for life. Not a great plan. There's a lot of misconception. It's not going away. It is fully funded for the next 18, 19 years. You will see some form of, some sort of reform come in the next 10 years or so, but it's not going to be any of you guys sitting down or you gals sitting down. It's going to be people like me, like Michael, and like my son Chance, who's 3, and like Michael's daughter, Betsy Grace, who's 2.5. They're going to have reform. Instead of 66, 67, for them it might be 70 or 75. If they do something like that, the plan's fully funded for the next 80 to 90 years. So don't listen to the hype. Social Security is not going anywhere. You can also delay Social Security. You can delay it from your full retirement age all the way out till age 70. We love this strategy. We love it because they guarantee you an 8% increase every year you wait. Guaranteed. I can tell you guys, I can guarantee you an 8% rate of return. Everyone in this room, would you take it? Of course. I probably get a call from FINRA, but you know, this is a guaranteed 8% rate of return, but people don't want to delay it. If you can get to age 70, that's the absolute best way, the best strategy you can do. Another cool thing about that is that when you pass away, your surviving spouse then gets spousal benefits based on that much, much higher amount. So it's a great strategy to employ. Things to consider when you make this decision. Obviously, everybody's different. I haven't talked about it. Everybody's mentioned it, and it's true. If you have one foot in the grave, I would not recommend deferring Social Security, obviously. You know, longevity risk, family history, those things all come into play. Here's the bottom line. If you live past 79 or 80 years old, it's better off deferring it till age 70. If you live at least to age 80, 79 or 80, you're better off deferring it till age 70. And the longer you live past age 80, the better those checks become because you get that higher amount for all those extra years. So, keep that in mind, guys. Very important. Things to consider when you look at Social Security as a core income for your overall income strategy, we like to look at it in the context of your other sources of income. Some people have rental properties. Some of you are lucky enough to have pensions. A lot of you have IRAs, 401ks, 403bs. And so we want to help design a plan to maximize the benefits that you get and have them all working together harmoniously. That's what we're here for. We can sit down with you. We can help you come up with a game plan to how to best maximize this. A lot of people will ask me, how much can I take out of my 401k? And it is true, they do want the money back, Scott. And I've heard that before. They actually do that. So when you get your money back, what's the strategy? How much can I pull out? Here's the deal. A safe withdrawal rate is 4 to 5%. If you have $500,000 in your 403B, you're looking at between $20,000 and $25,000 of income per year that you can safely take out and never run out of money. We have strategies that can get you a little bit more. We have an income portfolio that's designed to get you closer to 6. If you go anywhere north of that, you are running the risk of running out of money. So you got to be careful with how much you're taking out. So this is actually a slide. We ran an analysis for a client recently that came to us, going back to the things you can control and can't control. And he said, hey, I want to take out 8% of my account. And we said, okay, well, let's look at those numbers. What does that look like? You have a chance of running out of money before age 85 by doing that, or actually before age 80. So probably not a good plan. So we were able to get him to agree to, let's reduce that from 8% to 5%, take a little bit less income, and then we'll adjust something else. So he ended up saying, all right, I'll do that, but I'll work an extra 2 years, and instead of giving the kids $300,000, we'll give the kids $200,000. So we were able to make adjustments based on things we could control and still keep him on track and be successful for retirement. Make sense? Make sense? Yeah. You talk here in dessert, and everybody falls into more coffee, more coffee. 65. So, what do we have complete and total control over? Anybody?
Our spouses.
Your spouse.
Notice that came from a woman.
You got that. So, we have complete control over how much we save versus how much we spend, don't we? Every one of us has that power. We have 100% control over that. We have 100% control over when we decide to retire or when we turn on Social Security. These are the areas that we want you to focus on. And as clients of ours, you all have access to our entire team and our process. These are the things that we will coach you with. There are some things that you have partial control over. We do put some weight into those things within your plan, but not 100%, because longevity, for example, you have some control over how long you live, don't you, Michelle?
Yes.
Like you could say, hey, Michelle works out, she goes to the gym in Lake Mary, she watches what she eats. I didn't just hit puberty, by the way. I'm a little under the weather. So you have some control over that, right? But only the man upstairs knows when it's your time to go. So you don't know for sure. You've got choice, Beth. If you say, hey, I want another piece of pie tonight, that's your choice. You can say that. So you have some control, but not all the control, right? I know, you like it. All right, so those things do carry some weight with planning for the income. Now, things you have no control over whatsoever, however, ironically enough, is what everybody wants to worry about and keeps them up at night and creates the anxiety in the family, are things such as, what is the market going to do next year? I don't know. Who's going to be in the White House in 5 years, right? Or what is the tax brackets going to look like in 10? Or what's inflation going to be in 20 years? I mean, these are things that seniors worry about, that baby boomers, they keep them up at night. And in fact, most financial advisors also talk about most of these things. That's all people are talking about. What's the market going to do? Well, you know what? Nobody knows. And if they tell you they know, they're either misinformed or they're lying to you. So let's just focus on those things that we have total control over. I'll bring it back to John and Jane here in 1 second. I'm going to show you how we did that for them. So John and Jane, when Michael left off with John and Jane, they had a pretty good thing going on. It was before the recession hit. They had about $600,000 in their accounts. They knew how much income they wanted to take out. They knew when they wanted to retire. And they were at that 82 score for their probability for success. So things were looking good for John and Jane. Then what happened? 2007 hit. 2008 came. Now their $600,000 went down to about $375. All the numbers changed, didn't it? They had to make some adjustments, and they did so by focusing on those things that they could control. So rather than staying up all night, rather than getting out of the market, rather than putting their head in the sand or having total panic and anxiety like a lot of folks unfortunately experience, we kept them on course. Because we said this, listen, John, if we can work another 2 years, and Jane, if you can work another 1 year, and instead of leaving the kids $200,000, let's leave them with $100,000. They'll be all right. We agreed on some adjustments, things that we had control over, choice and control, and it brought them back up to that 80% success rate. The other thing that it did is it gave them the confidence and the clarity to stay the course. They stayed invested. They could sleep at night knowing that by things that they could choose to make changes with, it would still allow them to become successful, and they still knew they could retire. That's the magic of it. It's the quality of life that type of planning gives somebody, with the focus and the clarity to say, you know what, I don't care that the world's falling apart. I know what the facts are, and if I stay on course, I'm going to get from A to Z. And that's exactly what happened to them. Now, obviously, since 2008 hit, the markets are way back up. Their 600, or their 375 is now back well up over 600. And we can now go back to the plan, and we can now update those numbers. We can say, okay, you can still take your 75% of income like you originally wanted. You can still give the kids their 200 grand for your legacy like you originally wanted. But the whole time, through all that chaos, they were still relaxed and calm, and they were confident because they knew they could still retire. That's the whole premise of what we do. Let's focus on things that you can control. Who cares what the S&P is going to do? It doesn't bother us at all. If the Sanderhofs say, hey, we do a plan for you guys last year, Patty just retired, let's give her a round of applause. Public school teacher, like my sister. So we do a plan for the Sanderhofs and figure out, hey, what are your goals? How much income do you need? What do you want to leave for the kids? Do they like to take trips to Alaska, or they're going to at least? So what type of rate of return do the Sanderhofs need to be successful for their goals, their family goals? Forget about the S&P, because if they only need to earn 6% to hit each and every one of their goals, but the S&P goes up 30 2 years ago, it doesn't bother them. Because they know if we hit our singles and we get our 6-7%, we're going to be successful for our goals. We want to create your own family benchmark. So forget about the S&P. The S&P means nothing. So again, John and Jane, they were able to adjust. We kept them on track, and they're soon going to be able to retire. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I talked to my buddy Austin about it. I heard a quote recently, and I think it's really cool. I've never said it before. I haven't even practiced it, but I'm going to tell it. Does anybody know John Wooden? Yeah. Okay, he's like the all-time most winningest basketball coach in history. They interviewed John Wooden later in his life after he retired, and they said, John, Coach Wooden, if you could change anything in your life, what would it have been? He's a very successful man, all-time winningest basketball coach and everything. He said, well, I don't have any regrets. I wouldn't really change anything, but if there was one thing that I would have done differently, I would have taken my wife dancing more, because my wife really liked to dance. Our goal, as your team, as your advisors, is to allow you to have a couple more dances.